Shut up, Smarks. Ring Ross Redux. No, I won't tap out. I won't tap out. All of you butthurt suck. Just stop watching Raw. Stop watching Raw. So right now it's time for the paper review of WWE Battleground on the WWE Network from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Born and raised on the play. No, wait, hang on. So I think I made that joke last week. Didn't go over too well then either. So they didn't actually add any matches, which was a little surprising. Not, right home to your mother kind of surprising, but, just rather odd they didn't add any matches. I'm just saying, not judging or anything. I'm just saying no one didn't add any matches. So, and looking at what I previewed last week, I got an impressive number of these matches wrong. So, let's get into it, and I'll try not to shed a tear, I guess, when it comes down to it. So, during the pre-show, Todd Dillinger faced Aiden English, and in the climax of that match, English performed the director's cut on Dillinger to win the match. I did predict that Ty Dillinger would end up winning the match, but oh well. I mean, yeah, I suppose Aiden English, should get a win or two if they're actually having a feud. I don't know if a group of pre-show matches is considered a feud, but and anyway, anything that keeps the both of them wrestling and employed and stuff. And I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form. So. Congratulations, Aiden English. Hopefully it will continue parlaying into more opportunities for him, and we'll see him on the pre-show for SummerSlam, I guess. Or probably he and somebody else will team up against Ty Dillinger and someone else. And sure, we'll get 2 matches in 1. Why not? You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. So, the pay-per-view proper for WWE Battleground opened with the Usos defending the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the New Day of Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods with Big E in their corner. So that would be Rudy Tootie, I guess. Well, Tootie is Xavier Woods. Booty is Big E because he's Booty. And Xavier is Tootie because of the trombone, and Kofi is Rudy because, well, there was one left over. Much like Kofi Kingston in many. Anyway, so, because at some point, several months ago, they mentioned in one of their promos, Rudy Tootie Booty, and it's like, okay, I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to struggle in vain sometimes to do something with it. So, it was Rudy Tootie challenging the Usos for their SmackDown Tag Team Championships. In the end, Kingston performed Trouble in Paradise on Jimmy, which was followed by Woods performing a rope walk elbow drop on Jimmy for the title win. This marked the first time that Woods scored a pinfall to win a championship in WWE. Boy, WWE goes a long way to qualify things, doesn't it? It's like, Woods is the first time, insert thing that happens for the first time here. They're big on accomplishments. Nothing really wrong with them being big on accomplishments. It's just, I don't know. So, I did predict that the Usos would retain their titles, so I'm disappointed they got it wrong, but I'm not unhappy in the slightest for the New Day, because fantastic. I'm a big fan of the New Day still. I mean, I was a fan of the New Day when they were just right after they stopped being just a group of 3 guys and they actually started having fun doing what they were doing. That's when I started becoming a fan of theirs. So before the Bootios, before the I don't even remember what they were doing. They were just sort of being smarmy at people, really. So there you go. Let's hear it for New Day.
This is a great Cat Guitar Slamming Wrestling News Radio on Ring Rust, CHMR 93.5 FM.
So next up for Battleground on the WWE Network, Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Baron Corbin. who executed Deep Six on Nakamura for a near fall. And in the end, Baron attacked Shinsuke with a low blow. Thus, Nakamura won the match by disqualification. And after the match, Baron struck Nakamura with his Money in the Bank briefcase and attacked him with his finisher. I did predict, actually, that Shinsuke Nakamura was going to win. I don't think I expected I don't know if I should say I didn't expect disqualification, but I don't know. I wasn't surprised or disappointed or anything like that. It's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, very little about wrestling gets me upset. If something about wrestling gets you upset, you probably shouldn't be watching it. It's supposed to be entertainment. So, so if it's not entertaining you, why are you watching it? Don't say because you're a fan, because a fan likes the thing that they're a fan of. That's a pretty fitting description. A fan likes the thing that they're a fan of. Why would you buy merchandise for something you don't like? I mean, you have some wrestling merchandise, right? You have some WWE stuff. You have at least one or two T-shirts, I'm sure. You have probably some DVDs and or Blu-rays. Some of you have the network, which really makes me scratch my head that you're paying money to watch something you don't enjoy. It's one thing to get it free with your cable package because it comes on one of the channels that you get with cable, or to watch it online also for free, probably, especially if you use one of those sites. But, like I said, if you don't like it, don't watch it. If you can't justify having to pay for it, you can't justify having to watch it. Is how I usually question people who are looking for streams for pay-per-views. Like, if you can't why don't you have the network? Well, doubly so now, because at the time, of course, at the time I started saying it, the network didn't exist. I think they might have only been rumblings of the network. Like, anytime I question anybody why they were looking for a stream for it, why don't they just pay for it? It's like, I can't justify paying for it. And I say, if you can't justify having to pay for it, you can't justify having to watch it. I mean, how do you justify wanting to watch it if you can't justify paying for it? Because I'm a fan. No, you're not. You're a leech. So, anyway. So, I did predict Shinsuke Nakamura was gonna win that match. Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was nice though to see Baron Corbin's finishing move again. What is it called again, Fozzie? All right, it's called "End of Days" from their self-titled debut album. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Gerberology TV.
Marge, it takes two to lie, one to lie, and one to listen.
What does that mean?
Ew, slimy. Uh-oh, moving. Ow, pointy. Woohoo! No!
So, next up from Battleground on the WWE Network was the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match to determine the number one contendership for Naomi's SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam, which featured Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Tamina, Natalya, and Lana, all facing off against each other. After Lynch forced Tamina to submit to a disarm her, eliminating Tamina, she forced Lana to submit to the same move immediately afterwards, eliminating her as well. Natalya then pinned Lynch with a roll-up whilst holding her tights, eliminating Becky. After performing a roll-up into the corner on Flair, Natalya pinned her Charlotte to win the match. And after that match, Naomi offered a handshake, which Natalya refused, and just departed the ring. So, yeah, I actually predicted that Becky would win that match, but certainly was something to see. I don't know what they're doing with Lana. I don't mind it, but I don't know what they're doing with her. If they're actually going to make her a serious contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship, or they're just going to have her be just off to the side saying, "Hey, me too." I don't know. We'll see how that all works out. Hopefully, I don't know. Well, I don't know what to hope for, really. I mean, not that I mind her. I don't really necessarily mind her new gimmick. I think I'd probably still prefer to see her and Rusev together, personally, but not that big of a deal. I'm sure once they get traction on it, they'll get her doing whatever they want her to do, and then she'll be, I mean, I kind of like, when I noticed her coming out to the ring, I noticed the first time she came out to wrestle, she came out in the ring wearing that dress, but she had knee pads on, so I said, is she wrestling in a dress? And I've noticed that she's actually wearing a slightly different, sort of singlet kind of thing underneath it. And, I guess she just takes, I don't know if she takes off the whole dress or just takes off the skirt, or I've never seen her actual ring entrance to that extent where she's actually ready to start wrestling. So we'll check that out, I suppose, when next time I get to see her one of her matches. So, anywho, congratulations, Natalya. I don't know if has she been women's champion before? I think she might have been. I don't know. Well, congratulations anyway. Hopefully I know she'll get a good shot at it, and she'll put off a solid wrestling match, and hopefully at least come close, if not actually win, the title from Natalya at SummerSlam. We'll see. That'll be a nice moment for Natalya to come out of SummerSlam with the women's title. And I don't know what she'll do with that particular women's title. She might change all the lights to pink. That would work, I suppose. Keep that belt pretty much as it is, just change the colors of the lights. Might be something, I don't know. I mean, it's still kind of gaudy, but, you know, Naomi's a little bit gaudy, I guess, and Natalya could make it work, like I said, if it was all pink, because she's synonymous with that one particular color. I guess Charlotte Flair could use blue, Becky could, of course, use red. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to keep going with that theme or just change the side plates to match whoever's the current champion. Whatever. Looking forward to seeing Natalya wrestling at SummerSlam for that title. You are listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. Next up, AJ Styles defended the United States Championship against Kevin Owens on Battleground on the WWE Network. In the end, as Owens and Styles traded counters, AJ applied a crossface on Kevin, who shifted his weight on Styles into a pin to win the title for the third time. So congratulations to Kevin Owens. Man, it's just there's just something about Kevin Owens, isn't there? That match was guaranteed to be classic anyway. Before they even locked up, the match was great because they were just yelling at each other, and they were yelling great stuff at each other. Because Kevin Owens knows what he's doing, and AJ Styles knows what he's doing. They both know what they're doing. They both know how to perform in and around that ring, be it actual wrestling, be it talking, be it gesturing, be it acting at each other kind of thing. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it for quite a while. So they've been doing it as long as you've been complaining about wrestling. That's how long they've been doing it. It probably wouldn't be too far off, actually. They've been having good matches, not necessarily with each other specifically, but they've been having good matches as long as you've been complaining about wrestling. You, the person who complains about wrestling. I don't care if you feel justified in complaining about it, you complain about it, yet you keep watching it. You're complaining about WWE and keep watching it. So that's why WWE isn't going to change, because regardless of what you say, you're going to keep watching. Regardless of what they do, you're going to keep watching. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of response you want from WWE. It's not change, obviously, because you're not convincing them they need to change. You're not tuning out. You don't have a Nielsen box and you turn off certain segments when you're watching Raw and or SmackDown. Or you turn on Raw, watch it for 5 minutes, and then change the channel. And deliberately watch something else. You know, you deliberately don't watch Raw. I don't know. I mean, if you don't like Raw being for 3 hours, who told you had to watch 3 hours of Raw? You go to WWE's YouTube channel, you can watch the vast majority of Raw and not have to watch the whole thing for 3 hours. They have clips they have like the endings of all the matches. You're not necessarily going to get the whole match. They may include the whole match if it's a particularly entertaining match. You know, if they want to include it, they'll include it. If not, then they don't. So complaining about it really kind of doesn't do anything except get likes and lulls. So, I don't know. You are listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. Rust presents Macho Facts. Randy Savage has an unbeatable poker face, concealed beneath an even more unbeatable poker beard. And the Macho Man once appeared on Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, where he was the first one to spin. The other 29 minutes of the show consisted of everybody else standing around awkwardly, waiting for the wheel to stop spinning. Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/RayRust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni. And subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni. Next up from Battleground on the WWE Network, John Cena faced Rusev in a flag match. In the end, the Chain Gang commander attempted an attitude adjustment on the Bulgarian Brute, who countered into a jumping sidekick and applied the accolade to Cena. John fought back and performed an attitude adjustment through 2 tables on the stage on Rusev. Cena then planted the U.S. flag to win the match, because John Cena. And, well, he made the challenge to a flag match on the 4th of July. So, what result did anyone else really expect? You know, a flag match in the United States is probably going to end with the person representing, more or less, the United States winning it. So, I'm sure a lot of John Cena t-shirts were sold that night. So, anyway. It wasn't this one. I think, did I call that one? Yes. Because, like I said, it's rather predictable. Not in necessarily a bad way, it's just I can see it coming. I mean, there's predictable, I don't know. I don't understand the fans who don't like things, like, who complain about something being predictable. I mean, you're still watching it, right? So, if it's predictable, shouldn't you have no interest in seeing it? Theoretically? I mean, that would be my logic. I mean, if I say something's really predictable, I'm just not going to bother waiting around just to see, you know, or if nothing else, I'll wait around just to confirm that it was as predictable as I expected. But, you know, nothing's really gained, I don't think, from that. But what do I know? I'm just the kind of wrestling fan who uses his brain and stuff. I mean, if I haven't had any real interest in, for case in point, I haven't had really any real interest in watching Impact Wrestling in a while now. And I generally don't talk about it because it's not really a subject to talk about. Unless someone asks me, hey, did you see the most recent episode of Impact? And I'll say, no, I haven't really watched it in a while. And they'll say, really? You're a big wrestling fan. I would have thought you would have watched it. And I'd explain why I don't like watching it. It's because the commentators are heels. 2 of the 3 commentators are heels. At least the last time I watched it. And it was so bad, it was so unenjoyable to me, unpleasant to me, I just have no interest in watching it again now. I might, in a couple of months, watch an episode now that they've switched to Global Force Wrestling. I might check it out. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind on it yet. But one of these days I am going to watch it again just for the sake of saying, let's see what's changed. And, you know, we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it's improved. Hopefully they might even have different commentators by that point. I don't know. I just hope the commentators aren't heels. Or at the very least aren't characters. It's okay for them to be characters, like you know, JBL and Jerry Lawler are characters. But, you know, Michael Cole was a heel. And that was pretty unpleasant. So, I don't know how many people stopped watching because of it, but it was unenjoyable. It's twice, easily, of course, because math. It was twice as unenjoyable now because 2 of the commentators are characters against each other. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know. I hope they've decided to forego that. And, well... You are listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV.
Well, why don't you just peel me then? Zip thud. What?
So back to my paper review of Battleground from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the WWE Network. Mike Kanellis with his wife Maria in his corner faced Sami Zayn. And in the end, Maria got in the ring and prevented Zayn from performing an exploder suplex on Mike. But the guy who's powered by love, I guess we'll call him, I don't know if he's getting a nickname or anything, tried to take advantage. However, Sami countered and performed the exploder suplex into the turnbuckles, followed by a hell of a kick on Mike to win the match. I'm going to pronounce it helluva, because that's what it is. That's one hell of a kick. You want to say haluva, I don't know why. It's like, well, maybe we'll just differentiate it from the other way you usually pronounce that word, and we'll say haluva. I don't think that's a good... Okay, we'll just do that. I'll just tell fans that's how it's pronounced, and yeah. Okay, then. I did predict, actually, Mike Kanellis was going to win this one, so pleasantly surprised. Not disappointed in any way. It was a rather hard-fought match, and lots of punching and kicking going on, and underhanded tactics, of course, from the part of the Kanelli, I guess we'll call them, because it's two Kanellis, and Kanellis ends in S, so usually when a word ends in S and you make a plural, you drop the S. Especially if it's IS at the end of it, you'll drop the S and it's I. Like, I don't know. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that is how that works, but I've seen it like that, so anyway. Congratulations to Sami Zayn for this win, and hopefully that feud will continue on for quite a while, and oh god. If I can have your attention for a moment, I'd like to, just received an email from the ridiculous Ring Rust general manager. Oh, he wanted to wish Triple H a happy birthday as well. Well, okay, there you go. So, he wished Triple H a happy birthday as well. You owe him $50. Okay, apparently Triple H owes the ridiculous Ring Rust general manager $50. So, if you're listening, Triple H, you owe him money, and you can I don't know, you can message me, I guess, and get it to him. I don't know. What does he owe? I don't know. I don't even want to know. So, like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni, and subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni. So we got one match left, the main event of Battleground on the WWE Network. We saw Jinder Mahal defend the WWE Championship against Randy Orton in only the third ever Punjabi prison match. Challenger and champion went back and forth, preventing each other from escaping 3 of the doors of the inner cage. Orton called for the 4th door to be opened, then performed an RKO on Mahal, but the Singh brothers appeared from under the ring, anyway, and pulled Jinder out the door, forcing Randy to climb over the top of the inner cage. After the Viper escaped the inner cage, he prevented the modern-day Maharaja, I'm probably not going to try that again, from climbing over the outer cage and fought off the Singh brothers, including knocking Samir, who went outside of the cage, off the cage through the announce table. Orton then attacked Sunil and Mahal with a steel chair before attempting to climb the outer cage. Midway up, Jinder's music played, and the great Khali appeared for the first time since 2014. Khali climbed the cage and choked Orton, allowing Jinder to escape the outer structure and retain the WWE Championship. So, hooray. I mean, it worked for that match, I guess, for him to come back. I'm not sure how long he's going to be back for, but we'll see as the coming weeks of SmackDown Live progress, shall we? That's it for another show, kiddies. Check me out on Facebook, where you can keep track of all the news that's right on the mark, from around ringside to the latest concerts. See you at the shows. Later days.
This is 93.5 CHMR FM.